being LGBTQ looks white, cisgender, thin, and that's just, we are such a diverse community and size is never represented. How was your Pride Month this year?
You know, it was definitely different. I sense that there's like this, huge pushback in the country. I was thinking the other day, remember those few couple of years where like
it was lovely, where it was trendy and cool to be queer and to be an ally.
Added to the census.
Yes.
Like we're being seen for a minute.
And now it's the backlash.
There is a rollback of that for sure. But I think that historically, when queer people have asked to like be quiet, that's never a good thing.
Exactly. I feel like people forget how and why Pride started in the first place. It was a riot. We were standing up for ourselves, and that's what we're having to do now. Being
like a larger person in the queer community, it's never seen in the lexicon. Like I feel like we're always sold things like as gay men as like, oh, here's some tires with a side of abs.
To be fair, that's how they try to market to me as a queer woman too. We're just invisible, so I am still being sold things
with abs.
With abs, and I'm like, I'm not interested. I mean, it is very frustrating because there's this one idea of like being LGBTQ looks white, cisgender, thin, and that's just, we are such a diverse community and size is never represented.
I love that the rainbow is the signifier for the LGBTQIA plus community, because I really feel like it really is a spectrum of color.
Yeah.
Like if all you see is like a skinny, straight person as like the ideal of what is exactly like everyone's supposed to be, then I'm so sorry that your focus is so limited.
Yeah.
Like if you see the color red and you're not seeing burnt orange or persimmon or hot pink or all of the versions that come out of that color.
Exactly.
Like you're seeing such a limited view scope of what it is that's out there. And I feel like it's the same thing with emotion. If someone is only feeling anger and not like bewilderment or frustration, or then they're just limited to these simplistic emotions and not able to fully understand like what the richness is of life. My world is colorful. I have different color friends. I have people of different ethnicities, people of different sexualities, people of different genders.
Yeah.
And I think that that's interesting. And the more we get into minute detail of what those spectrums are, the more we're able to understand who we are.
I think so too. And I think for so long, the LGBTQ community kind of separated. It was like, okay, gay men here, lesbians here, bi people, we don't really want you, and everybody was sort of separated. Yeah, you don't exist. Now I think we're being attacked as a whole, right? And now this is a really important time for us to all come together, to listen to each other, to say, yes, we have different experiences. The way that I experience being queer is different than the way that you experience it. But if someone sees me holding my girlfriend's hand, they're going to be angry the same as if they saw you holding your partner's hand. So we need to be angry together. We need to fight together. And we can't let things like body size or race or all these other things divide us, because I think that we're stronger as a community.
I was talking to the filmmaker Elegance Bratton for my podcast, and we were just talking about what his hopes and dreams and prayers were for the LGBTQ community going forward. And he spoke about something that really affected me, where he said that he grew up homeless on Christopher Street with these non-passable trans women that like took care of him and gave him Chinese food and gave him a place on the couch to sit. And until like the most marginalized of us are comfortable to walk down the street, none of us are actually free.
Exactly.
And I feel that way about different body types, about different disabilities, about all of us. Like every single person that is under our umbrella needs to be able to walk down the street and be seen as a human being,
right, with
full feelings and abilities. Or none of us really have that kind of freedom that maybe we like falsely thought we did a few years ago when we weren't welcoming in the bisexuals or separating our groups.
It was like, we got marriage equality, great. And it's like, okay, but trans people still can't, access healthcare. And there's so many things
now that they're attacking drag queens in Florida and they're
in Ohio, where we are,
and outlawing things in Mississippi or wherever. Like, I really feel like this is the time that we need to band together and start to develop stronger relationships with some of our siblings, because there needs to be a bigger focus. And as a bigger person, what challenges do you think you face that are because you're a person with a bigger figure and you're queer?
I think that working in LGBTQ travel as one of the only larger bodied people in that space has really made a lot of influencers and brand partners and all those people like think about body size for the first time ever, because it was very much like okay, here's the abs guy on the sailboat, so you're going to want to go on this trip. And it's like, that doesn't make me as a plus size person want to go on this trip, or as a queer woman. So like, you're missing on two accounts now. This was almost like a mind-blowing idea that I had never really
thought. Did you see
thought.
like a big like aha moment with someone where like, is there like a specific instance where like something that came across, they were just like, and you saw like the light bulb go off?
Yeah, I mean, I was recently on a trip that was all for queer women. There was 18 of us queer women at the Belmont, which is like a 5-diamond luxury resort.
Fabulous.
Okay, yeah,
yes,
you know.
yes.
Okay, and the organizer is someone who I consider to be a mentor, and she was like, I just want to let you know, like, I know so much about inclusivity because of you that I never knew about. She was like, we're going ziplining, so I called in advance and I asked about the harnesses, and she was like, I would have never known to do that. She's like, I asked about the sizes of the chairs, and I was like, how nice for somebody who lives in a smaller body to do that work. And she was like, I would have never known. And this has happened at conventions where people are like, I changed the chair out because you told me that was something I need to think about. So I've seen these aha moments happen on trips, and it's been really good.
I know even my manager knows that like there's certain cars I won't fit in. There's certain trailers that I can't like be stuck in for a certain amount of time. It's like, you know.
Has this happened in acting? Where
it's like putting an elephant in a birdcage. It's like, you can't like.
It's not happening. It's not happening. Yeah.
I mean, it's not about me thinking about that I'm, you know, especially earlier in my career, that I was any better than anyone else. It was literally about, I'm in this room for 8 hours and I can't turn.
Yeah, because it's not about being better, it's about being different. The difference is, I think growing up we were told, hide the differences, right? Like, just ignore it. If you're uncomfortable in the chair, just ignore it. And now it's like, no, I deserve to be comfortable in the chair too, right? And so now we're standing up for ourselves. And then in turn, it's teaching other people to stand up for us.
Finally, finding a voice for myself as a plus size man to be able to speak on behalf of myself has made me think about other plus size people. Like when I have an event, I always make sure that there's comfortable seating. Even if I'm like booking like an Airbnb for my family, we're all bigger people. I'm like, well, what's the dining room table chairs look like? What's that couch look like? Like, I do think that way when I'm trying to book things like that, because I want everyone to be comfortable.
Exactly. And comfort is it's just so important.
It's interesting to be here for Big Fig, because one thing I think is so great about Big Fig is how they do pay attention to that stuff, and they are asking some of those questions. I think they even have me asking questions like that about myself and wondering how to do things. It's difficult to be in so many intersectionality areas of diversiveness and be treated the same as everyone else, or given the same just common courtesy as everyone else. Sometimes when they're thinking of the people as a whole, they're not thinking about everyone. You know, they're thinking they're like, everyone is here, and their scope of everyone is down to just red or anger or small, you know, descriptors that are just so tiny that they can't encompass everyone else.
And you're like, I want to be my full colorful self. Right.
I'm not gonna shade myself for you. I'm gonna get the sun.
Yeah, it's like, I want to show up as a whole person and be able to be my authentic self. And I feel like as queer people, we hide that in some ways until we get to that comfort where we can just be like, okay, I'm here, I'm queer, I'm going to be my whole authentic self. Right now, it's a matter of safety.
When you lit up, when you were telling your story, you were talking about consideration. It's just like such a small thing to ask. It's just, consider me.
Yeah. Consider me. Exactly.
You know, and I feel like that is something that people should think about when they're trying to understand someone else's experience. Just consider what it would be like to be in that.
Because the fact that you haven't had to consider it is a privilege.
Oftentimes we think of it with some of our elders. We go, oh, there's stairs and Nana can't make the stairs or something like that, you know?
I am also Nana. Sometimes I can't make the stairs.
I am Nana.
When I think about the intersection of being queer and being plus size, I think about resiliency. That's the word that comes, because both communities have had to fight for visibility, have had to fight for safety, have had to fight for consideration, respect, dignity, all of these things. And so I think like having both of those identities makes us really strong. And so I wish we didn't have to be strong all the time, but it has made me really resilient.
I love encouraging other people to do the same, because I think that that's what it takes. It gives people permission to just be themselves.
Exactly.
Like there's a lot of times that I'll be at like a bear party or like a bear community like gay event. Everybody there likes guys that look like us.
Yeah.
But we still all have that just little like monochrome of like shame or whatever. Like I'll take my shirt off. And it's like all of a sudden everyone will start taking their shirt off. Like we're at a beach party. But it's like one person has to do it to like give permission. And there's been times where I was the first person where I said to my friends, watch, I'm going to take my shirt off and everyone's going to take their shirt off.
Yeah. I always say.
And it's like, you know, it's that one penguin that jumps off the cliff to make sure they're not going to get eaten before everybody jumps in.
Exactly. We're the penguins, but like.
I'll do it all day. I'll penguin all day.
I literally always say, I'll do it first. That's what I always say. Like, if you're afraid to do this thing, because you're plus size or because you're queer, like, I'll do it first.
But also listen to you, you're ziplining, you're doing things.
I know, that's what I was gonna say. I always tell people, like, I will zipline, I'll do it. Like,
you're doing things that plus size people might be afraid to try for fear that they might not be accommodated.
Yeah.
But you're breaking down barriers, and I think it's so awesome of you to be able to go do stuff like that, to show people it can be done.
Yeah.
And it can be done safely and correctly with them being considered.
They gotta see someone do it first. They gotta see the penguins, and we're the penguins.
Penguin all day.
I love it, yeah.